Good morning. Good morning. It's Saturday. Saturday morning, about 8 o'clock. Been up for about an hour and a half. Didn't go for the walk this morning because it's been raining steadily ever since. It's nice and cool though. Nice and cool. It has been raining for some time. I heard we were going to get somewhere between 4 to 7 inches of rain. So, no mowing today. No doing anything outside. So I think I'll go to the office and work today. But, yeah, I just got up this morning and didn't really think of anything I could talk about today. But, then it kind of hit me, and it kind of goes with the day. It's just kind of a dreary, rainy day. Good day to stay inside. Tracy just set up her kitchen. She's going to be baking all day. She's going to be baking all week. Getting ready for this little festival we have in town every year called Colonel Vatter's Day. Which I think Colonel Vatter may have been our founder of our town. We would have a real small little town here. Just a little north of, or a little, I don't know, northeast, I'm not sure, west of Nashville, Indiana, Brown County. We live right on the Brown County line. But, yeah, what I thought I could talk about today, and really I have experience with this, is depression. Depression and anxiety, which kind of go hand in hand sometimes. Depression is an ugly, mean monster. And I looked it up, the actual definition, if you say Webster's definition or whatever, of depression is a feeling of severe dejection, a long and severe recession in an economy or a market. So those are the basic definition of depression. But it's hard to explain sometimes, I think, the feelings that you have. And, going through the things that Tracy and I have been through the last 5-6 years, it has been a roller coaster of highs and lows, a lot of lows. And I've been through several periods and bouts of this. Earlier this year was the worst that I'd ever been. I mean, I felt like I didn't want to be around anybody. I truthfully, I did not even care if I kept on living. It's like life didn't really even matter. And that's not a good thing. I mean, looking back on it now, somehow the Lord has brought me out of that, and I am so thankful. And I'm thankful that I am alive, and life is worth living. It is a beautiful thing, and it's a beautiful thing to help people. But I briefly just looked up this morning some stats on depression, and I was just looking at those, and it says like 4.8 million Americans suffer from depression, and it says 25% of cancer patients do. I would say those numbers are actually higher than that, because I think there's a lot of people that are depressed, but they don't ever tell anybody about it, or they don't get help about it. There's a number that says that there are $80 billion is lost in America in productivity and healthcare combined because of depression, the cause of it. And depression usually comes on, it's about the age of 14 until after you're over 65, and that's when it's most common. So basically all your life, except for when you're a little kid, and that's why you just love the carefree lifestyle of the way little kids live. Another one is like 70% of teenagers. 70% of teenagers have some sort of depression. So, I think a lot a lot of people, I think, that are going through that, I think it helps a lot to just have somebody or talk to somebody that is going through the same thing or has gone through the same thing. For some reason, as humans, it makes us feel better when we see somebody going through the same thing as us. If there's anybody out there that's you feel like you're going through that, I'd urge you to get some type of help. I tried a few times to go to a therapist, and that just wasn't for me. It's weird because you need somebody to talk to, but you really don't want to talk to anybody. And I remember seeing this meme somebody had posted, and I found it again, and it described to a T what I was going through probably earlier this year and the last few years. It says, having anxiety and depression is like being scared and tired at the same time. It's the fear of failure, but no urge to be productive. It's wanting friends, but hate socializing. It's wanting to be alone, but not wanting to be lonely. It's caring about everything when caring about nothing. Feeling everything at once, and then feeling paralyzingly numb. And I read that one time, and I was like, that is exactly how I feel. And it's crazy. It's crazy because all those feelings are real. And you need help. You need somebody to help you get through this. But at the same time, you don't want to talk to anybody about it. It's kind of weird. And it's kind of hard to describe to people sometimes, and you just feel alone. In my job, in my profession, I remember watching a video of a guy who was talking about depression and being a tech person. And I'm sure it goes with other different avenues of life or work. But talking about depression, when a tech professional has depression because they think for a living, and that's how they make their money. And he likened to a tech professional having depression as the same as like a construction worker having a broken leg. If you got a broken leg and you've got to build things for a living, you can't really push through that. And that is so true. If you are a tech professional and you're suffering from depression, you're going through depression. And it just really opened my eyes, because there had been times I would go in the office and I would just sit there all day and not do anything. And it was like I couldn't do anything. It was really weird how I came out of that. I can't really tell you. I know I just had to keep moving. I think you got to keep moving, even when you don't feel like doing something. You don't even feel like taking a shower. You have to you have to push yourself to do that. And that's where I think it helps to have somebody to help you through that. Just kind of like, people do in Alcoholics Anonymous, or going through alcohol and drug addictions, is you've got to use the buddy system. You've got to get through that with somebody else. You need somebody else to help push you, just like people do that when they're working out. Even working out, you need somebody to help make you accountable and just help push you and motivate you. And so if that's what you're going through, man, find somebody. Talk to somebody. Talk to me. I've been through it. And I know in the past, I've shared this a little bit. In the past, I think I used alcohol as a self-medication to get through things, just to get through life. And I did that for a long time. Many people may not know that about me. I haven't drank in a long time. But I would say for a period probably close to 8 years, I would drink, and not drink and get sloppy drunk, but just enough to, numb my feelings. And it would take my mind away so that I didn't really care about what was going on in life. And I would wake up the next day, of course you'd feel kind of crappy. And then I think the guilt from drinking the night before is what pushed me to do something and be productive the next day, until it got later in the day and then something would click. And even though I wasn't consciously trying to think of how I could get a little bottle and drink, my mind was somehow, I would situate myself and I'd situate my schedules to where I could have a half pint of liquor before I got home from work, and yeah, it's crazy. And it was just a vicious cycle. And I know there's probably tons of other people like that going through the same situation. And so that's why I wanted to talk about that today, because it is a very real thing, and people use all different kinds of ways to try to deal with it and cope with it. So yeah, I was on that circus, that cycle for a long time, and I know if you stay on that, that's just a downward spiral. You will eventually start losing things in your life. I never got to that point. I never hit that solid rock bottom. I mean, there were points where I tried to quit. I tried, and I would tell my family. Even went through some few outpatient treatment things. But I was functioning. I could hold a steady job. I was taking the kids. I was coaching the kids. There'd be times that I would, I was coaching the kids. I was, still functioning through life. But again, I was getting drunk every night. And so I was using that as a self-medication to basically, I think, cope with my anxieties and depression. And it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing at all. And like I said, I can't tell you, and I can't even really pinpoint when, but man, something clicked in my mind. These videos that I'm doing, I started doing these just personally for myself a couple years ago. Basically as a form of therapy, to just talk out things that were going on in my life. And I don't know what made me decide to want to start a podcast or whatever, just to share it. But this is not like my personality. That it was kind of the way I wanted to be, but there was something inside me that would hold me back. And when I would get alcohol in me, that person would come out that I really wanted to be, I think. And something has clicked and something has changed, and man, life seems like it is just great. I mean, Tracy's still going through cancer. She's still got this rare cancer. But her last scan, some of the tumors that were on her spleen are completely gone. And so things are really they feel good. You're almost, when you're on this high in life, at some point you're going to be at that low again. And so when you're at the highs in life, you've got to somehow build things around you so that when those lows do come, you're ready to combat them. You're ready to take them on, and so they just don't hit you, and they don't sneak up on you and surprise you. And so when you're going through the good times in life, that's when you've got to start preparing and start building up and start training yourself mentally and putting things around you so that when those low times do come, you are prepared and you're ready to take them on. So I never, ever, ever want to feel like I did earlier this year. And I don't know. Anyway, I've been rambling on here for about 15 minutes, so just wanted to share thoughts that I had this morning. good thoughts for a rainy day. If anybody out there is going through this, talk to somebody. I mean, I can share all kinds of stories with you. Good stories and bad stories. And or talk to somebody and find some help. And I know we are going through this huge drug epidemic in our culture today, and I remember seeing somebody, and they had somebody that wanted help, and they could not even find in a 20-mile radius a place for them to stay to get help. And the guy really needed help, or the girl really needed help. And so I think we need more and better treatment facilities to help people with drugs and alcohol. And like I said, I'm willing to help anybody that wants to talk. Just hit me up. You see my Facebook, send me a message or whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here, get ready, get cleaned up, take a shower, and go into work. But Saturday, got another day for the weekend tomorrow. So, hey, just treat everybody the way you want to be treated and keep on keeping on.